Israel killed Charlie Kirk. It is plain as day. I don't care what your favorite influencer says. I don't care what Kash Patel, that freaking idiot, says. Israel killed him. It just released. Did y'all see the plane? The plane got the whole info about the plane leaving. It leaves the airport that's 5 miles away for a few minutes, turns off all of its locations, which is illegal, for 45 minutes, and then turns them back on and it's heading the other direction. It just got released. That plane, guess who owned it? A big-time rich Jewish donor. Guess who's been on the news and posting and tweeting all about this whole Charlie Kirk thing and denying it hard? Benjamin Netanyahu. Kind of sounds like he's nervous, like he understands, oh, people are figuring this out. He's even claimed, no, we didn't do this. It was the Islamists, the extremists. Just like he did 9/11. Guess who did 9/11? Benjamin Netanyahu. That's literally a fact. If you haven't got that far down the rabbit hole, I'm sorry, like you're lost. This is not a hard case. And I don't know whether or not the shooter is the guy that they were picturing everywhere, but I will say this. I had several people commenting towards me saying that the rifle was in his pants and that he took the scope off and put it down his pants also, and then he had a screwdriver and screwed the scope back on once he got on top of the building. Are you an idiot? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but have you ever shot a gun and taken the scope off and put it back on and then seen where the gun would shoot? It's nowhere close. No, you're not hitting a shot at 140 yards straight to the jugular with a gun that's had the scope pulled off and put back on and you just expect it to be on there. No, I don't know whether he was a shooter or not, but I can tell you this. The gun that they found, it was planted and that was not the gun. The scope was mounted too far back to even shoot it. You'd blow your eye whenever you shot it. And why did he just conveniently put it back into a box? Like, oh, here you go. Guys, this is not some trans extremist individual. This was a professional shooter. And yes, it was a professional shooter. 140 yards is a long way. And whenever your adrenaline starts pumping, have you ever shot a deer from that far? You start shaking because you get so excited. I would like to imagine that if this was a one-time shooter who's about to take their first human life, their adrenaline's pumping. They're nervous. They're shaking. This was not just some individual. This was a professional shooter hired by Israel because Charlie Kirk was starting to realize what was going on. And even Candace Owens said that on her show. He was beginning to come around and realize these things. And he was afraid that Israel would kill him, and they did. It's a simple answer, and that's what happened.
This is absolutely ridiculous. When Charlie Kirk was shot dead, first we saw Zionists with no evidence whatsoever blaming Muslims and Muslim Brotherhood and trying to spark a war with Muslims. Almost like they've done that before. And look, they wanted a war with Turkey and Qatar. Wow. Then war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu went on an interview and said, we didn't do it. Israel had nothing to do with this, which shows how many people know the amount of evil that Israel can do and how much control they have and what they've done in the past in the United States and elsewhere. And then he ended with his trademark, it's the radical Islamists. We need to go to war with them again. And then it turns out it's this guy right here, the male version of Snow White. So then Representative Nancy goes from, it's time to bring the death penalty, when she thought it would have been a brown immigrant, a Muslim. So when she found out it's Jack next door, that girl switched so fast. We know Charlie Kirk would have wanted us to pray for such evil. Tyler Robinson is just a lost individual. We want him to find Christ. Oh, my heart. Even the authorities were shocked. They said, we kind of hoped it was someone from out of the country, an immigrant, a radical Muslim. Maybe Tyler did convert to Islam. Maybe Tyler is actually Tariq. Wallahi, this whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. Hypocrisy, double standards, and everyone's really exposing themselves for who they really are.